The story begins with Han Hao, the owner of the Han Hao Group, who leads a lavish but loveless life. In reality, Han Hao had married his wife, CEO Yen, solely for her father's business empire. On the other hand, CEO Yen had never worked a day in her life but believed she was entitled to all the wealth. One day, at his office, Han Hao learned about a carpenter, Jun Ki, who refused to vacate his shop. Han Hao desperately needed the shop for his next project, so he ordered his trusted aide, Mr. Bang, to ensure the shop was vacated at any cost. Meanwhile, Jun Ki was panicking, knowing that Han Hao's men could arrive at any moment. Soon, Mr. Bang and his men showed up and threatened Jun Ki, saying, "Sign the papers willingly, or I'll cut off your hands and make you sign myself." Terrified, Jun Ki had no choice but to sign the paper. Later, Han Hao went to his favorite restaurant for dinner, where a young man named Dong Hyun was dining nearby. When Dong Hyun tried to pay the bill, he realized he had forgotten his wallet at home. Surprisingly, instead of being angry, the restaurant owner assured Dong Hyun that Han Hao would cover his bill. Though Han Hao found it strange, he paid the bill. The owner promised Han Hao that he would soon receive a reward for his kindness. Shortly afterward, Dong Hyun was climbing a corner of a building, trying to retrieve a shoe. Suddenly, he slipped and fell directly onto Han Hao, who was standing below. When Han Hao regained consciousness, he was shocked to find a nurse calling him child. Confused, he stepped out of the room and saw his own body lying on another bed. Before he could process what was happening, Jun Ki embraced him, calling him son. It was only when Han Hao saw himself in the mirror that he realized his soul had entered Dong Hyun's body. The same man he had threatened earlier was now calling him his son. A doctor, observing Han Hao's changed behavior, told Jun Ki that Dong Hyun might be suffering from retrograde amnesia. Hearing this, Han Hao suddenly recalled the restaurant owner's words and rushed to the restaurant, only to find it permanently closed. Meanwhile, Han Hao's biggest enemy, Mr. Ng, rejoiced upon hearing about Han Hao's accident. Seizing the opportunity, he decided to eliminate Han Hao once and for all. That evening, when Han Hao went to his home, CEO Yen refused to recognize him. When he tried to convince her, saying, "Crazy woman, I'm your husband," she called security and had him handed over to the police. Jun Ki, on the other hand, was puzzled by his son's strange behavior. However, because Dong Hyun was a minor, the police released him without taking any action. Determined to return to his original body, Han Hao tried jumping onto his own body at the hospital, but was thrown out by Mr. Bang. Humiliated by his own servant, Han Hao returned to his new home, which was much smaller and less comfortable. As he sat down to eat, Han Hao realized that being in Dong Hyun's body made him feel extremely hungry. Jun Ki believed that Dong Hyun had fallen from the building because of bullying, so the next day, they went to meet the school principal. The principal, however, denied that there were any bullies in the school. Han Hao, knowing the principal was lying, vowed to uncover the truth. In class, Han Hao noticed a group of boys who began mocking him as soon as they saw him. Han Hao soon realized that Dong Hyun was a quiet and timid boy, which made him an easy target for bullying. During lunch, Han Hao saw some bullies harassing a girl named Yu Young. He intervened, leading to an argument with the bullies' leader, Tae Wook. Before things escalated, the teacher arrived, forcing Tae Wook to back off. After school, Tae Wook and his friends tried to fight Han Hao again. This time, Han Hao slapped them all into submission. That same day, Tae Wook and his gang were harassing another boy in the bathroom when Han Hao appeared. Terrified, Tae Wook handed his phone over to Han Hao, who later discovered a video showing Tae Wook and his friends forcing Dong Hyun to climb the wall, leading to his fall. The next morning, Tae Wook's leader was scolding him for losing the phone. Han Hao arrived and calmly warned him not to bully anyone again. With the incriminating video in Han Hao's possession, the leader had no choice but to comply. Meanwhile, CEO Yen, taking advantage of her husband's condition, began engaging in affairs with younger men. This news eventually reached Mr. Ng, who teamed up with CEO Yen to destroy Han Hao completely. That night, Han Hao visited Mr. Bang at the hospital and managed to reveal the entire truth to him. The next day, after school, Han Hao accidentally bumped into Yu Young, causing her teddy bear to fall. As he went to return it, he noticed Yu Young's mother, Mi Soon. To Han Hao's shock, Mi Soon was his first love, whom he had left for CEO Yen. Seeing her, Han Hao called her by her name, leaving Mi Soon equally surprised. After leaving, 500 began reminiscing about all the moments he had spent with Mi Soon. The next time he met Yu Young, 500 secretly plucked a few strands of her hair for a DNA test. The results revealed that Yu Young was actually his daughter. Shocked by this discovery, he went straight to Mi Soon and asked her about her life. Tearfully, Mi-soo told him how she had raised Yu Young all alone because her husband had abandoned them. Meanwhile, CEO Yen approached her father with false reports claiming that 500 was misusing company funds. In reality, she was doing this on the orders of Mr. Ng. Yan's father, trusting her completely, decided to remove 500 from the company as soon as he came out of his coma. 500, wanting to spend more time with his daughter, joined a gym where Yu Young already trained. Initially, Yu Young was suspicious of him, but as she was about to leave, Mr. Bang, posing as a trainer, convinced her to stay. Over the next few days, the two worked out together, and 500 eventually lost weight. Everyone at school was shocked by his new look. One day during lunch, a group of girls tried to bully Yu Young again, but this time, she was fully prepared and easily stood up to them. That evening, 500 went to Mi-soo's restaurant, where, over dinner, she confided that there was someone from her past she wanted to kill. Hearing this, 500 realized she was talking about him. Later, a customer at the restaurant misbehaved with Mi-soo. Enraged, 500 sent Mi-soo inside and started beating the customer. Mi-soo, confused by his behavior, finally heard the full truth from 500. At first, she didn't believe him, but after asking many questions, she realized he was telling the truth. However, learning the truth made her even angrier, and she told 500 to leave her life just as he had years ago. The next day, a boy named Min-ho invited Yu Young to his birthday party, and she agreed to go, unaware of Min-ho's true intentions. Meanwhile, 500 went to Mi-soo again, trying to rekindle their bond, but Mi-soo firmly rejected him, saying she wanted no ties with him. Refusing to give up, 500 tried to win her heart again, surprising everyone around them. However, Mi-soo slapped him and walked away. While 500 was still trying to pursue Mi-soo, he got a call from a friend who informed him that Min-ho and his friends were planning to humiliate Yu Young at the party. Rushing to the scene, 500 arrived just in time to see Min-ho and his friends pouring alcohol over Yu Young in front of everyone. Furious, 500 fought off Min-ho and his gang single-handedly, shocking everyone at the party. The next day, Mr. Bang informed 500 about CEO Yan's plans to remove him from the company and her illicit affairs. Hearing this, 500 wrote a letter to CEO Yan's father and entrusted Mr. Bang to deliver it. At school, a girl asked 500 to hang out, but he refused. Then, to his surprise, Yu Young asked him the same question. Confused, 500 firmly declined, and Mi-soo, learning about this, warned Yu Young to stay away from him. That night, Mr. Ng sneaked into the hospital to kill Dong-hyun, but Dong-hyun suddenly woke up. Mistaking him for 500, Mr. Ng panicked and fled. Upon regaining consciousness, Dong-hyun found himself in a new body and rushed to his father, who failed to recognize him. At that moment, 500 arrived and, after much explanation, convinced Dong-hyun and Jun-ki of the truth. Together, 500 and Dong-hyun went to Mi-soo. They lied, saying they had returned to their original body. As Dong-hyun apologized to Mi-soo, Mr. Ng arrived with his men. Seeing the danger, Dong-hyun began crying. 500 sent them both inside and prepared to face Mr. Ng alone. However, Mr. Ng had come fully prepared, making it hard for 500 to handle him alone. Just then, Mi-soo threatened to set the restaurant on fire, scaring Mr. Ng and his men into fleeing. Mi-soo realized that 500 and Dong-hyun had lied, but she still poured her heart out to Dong-hyun, whom she believed to be 500. She shared how she had struggled to raise Yu Young alone and faced countless hardships. Meanwhile, CEO Yan's father discovered her schemes and extramarital affair. As a result, he disinherited her and summoned 500. Since 500 couldn't meet him in person, he sent Dong-hyun with a communication chip in his ear. The chip worked for a while, but when Yan's father asked about his family, Dong-hyun couldn't answer and began speaking on his own. Eventually, 500 decided to step down from Han Hao Group to focus on his family. Respecting his decision, Yan's father allowed him to leave. As 500 and Dong-hyun embraced outside, a furious CEO Yan rammed her car into them, severely injuring 500. While he was bedridden, Dong-hyun suddenly fainted too. 500 was rushed into surgery, where he once again encountered the same woman who had switched their body. 6 months later, Dong-hyun returned to school, where everyone respected him, and he even started dating Yu Young. Meanwhile, 500 opened a large restaurant for Mi-soo, where Jun-ki, Mr. Bang, and Mi-soo worked together happily. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.